Hello boys and girls, welcome back to I Squared for yet another video of fork tube straightening revisited. Same motorcycle, I believe it's the same fork leg, but it's a different motorcyclist. This is Matthew.
Hi, I'm Matthew.
I'm knocking everything over here. So, let's get to it. We're going to do the same thing we did last time, basically, except we're going to add a few things. We're also going to look at the eccentricity of the tube at the point where it is bent to determine how deformed it may be, and if a weakening of the tube at that point has contributed to it bending again. I suspect if I turn the tube around so that the bending forces are opposite the original bending forces, that if it does try to bend again, it may just very well snap. But we're gonna check the eccentricity as well as the bend run out this time. So let's get to it. Okay, so we should have most of what we need here. We have coffee, and what's that?
That's chocolate milk.
Is it hot?
No.
It's cold chocolate milk?
Yeah.
That doesn't count in the coffee realm. Alright, we'll let it go. Alright, so we're going to start by taking the boot off. Well, this boot's been on a long time, so its feet is probably going to stink, right? You're not laughing. This boot is to keep the dirt out, right?
Yep.
That means there's no dirt in there, right? Is there any dirt in there? Sure. Okay. Now we've got to get this dust seal off. So dust seal. Yep, it looks pretty clean. Hold that down. Boy, that's a little pretty tight. Somebody must have been trying to seal a copper gasket on that. Okay, we need a little container in which to pour some small amount of oil. Yep, there's a copper gasket on there. And let's see how much oil we get out of it. Well, it's clean enough. Okay, let's get the I'm just going to put this screw back in temporarily, just in case there's another teaspoon or two of oil in there. It just doesn't come out and make a mess. Okay. Okay, now we got to get the spring out of here. And take this cap off. Now this is the fun part. This is where the spring comes flying out. When you take the cap off, you want to push on it hard enough so that you feel the tension come off of the threads. So it turns easy, in other words. Like a cow with its foot in the mud. I could say something, but better left for AVE's channel, actually. Which of my tools are you looking to lose now?
Brushes, gloves, clear coat.
Brushes, gloves, and clear coat?
And this.
What kind of clear coat?
This clear coat?
Oh, that's the satin finish?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you need to stain it?
No.
What color is it? He's refinishing his desk upstairs.
Red.
Red-ish?
Ish. Like maple-ish, but not really maple, but almost cherry, but not really.
It might be mahogany.
Actually, yeah, mahogany. It does look a lot like mahogany.
Do you want to just do a natural finish on it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I like the look of it.
It's probably not fine enough though.
This.
I mean, you sanded it with 80 grit.
Sanded with 80, and then I took my hand sander and used 100, then I went to 20, then I went to 400.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. That should look nice.
It is good.
Okay.
So I need, no, not that. Yes, that one. And, oh, yeah. Like, I'm stealing this roll and the denatured alcohol, because I gotta clean it. And the stir stick. I think that's everything?
Okay. Yeah, it's fine.
Okay.
It's all good.
Yee. I should be able to do a coat like every hour or so, because it's so hot today.
Well, you'll just have to see.
Okie doke.
Okay. Now, I'm going to take this out just for the sake of keeping it clean, keeping it separate. Uh-oh. You know what? I think it doesn't go past the bend. But we'll find out. We'll put a little air behind it. See what happens. Nope, it's pressurizing. And it's not coming out the other end. So we might have enough bend that we can't get that piston out. Or, like I said when we started before, in the beginning of the recording, we're going to check the eccentricity at the bend. I don't know if you can see that on camera. That bend is right here. It's quite clearly stuck right there. Oh, I can't pressurize that. It's got a bit on the tube. You see the bend. Alright, so let's take some measurements. In a couple of places. What's that read? tenths of a millimeter. I'm sorry, it's not 7/10. 7/100. 7/100 of a millimeter. Out of round here. Which to me doesn't seem to be that much. I mean, I don't think that's significant to indicate a tremendously weakened bar. It's you know, if it were cinching, collapsing at that point, 7/1000ths for a bend like that, I don't think that's that big a deal. So let's go out to the barn to the 20-ton press and fix this thing.
Alright.
What do you say to that?
I say let's do it.
Alright, let's have some more coffee first. Catch you out in the barn. So, here we are, back out in the barn, where the 20-ton press is. Eventually we get this whole situation straightened out, and 20-ton press and the surface grinder that's in pieces in front of it will all be in the machine shop. Which is the although a 20-ton press out here isn't bad either. This is the V blocks that I forgot. But essentially, we're going to do what we did before. We're going to put the V blocks. We're going to pad them. Last time I think we used some expanded PVC. This time we're just going to use towels. We have a healthy accumulation of nice thick Turkish towel fragments that we can roll up into pads of whatever thickness we like. Got our V blocks. And I'm going to put the two, well, maybe three good layers of terry cloth. And here's our bent fork tube. So I'm going to bring the V blocks in fairly close to the bend.
We should also machine a set of steel tubes so that we can crush cans.
Oh, I saw a really cool pneumatic crusher on the Bar Z Bash video this weekend. They had this, I don't know if Stan made it or one of the other guys made it, but it was just, you drop the can in, and you know, it hit a plate, but there was an opening at the end. So when the pneumatic ram came in and crushed the can, as soon as it released it, it dropped through the slot. And it was like bang, 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 bang. It was really cool. It just cranked them out. That's what we should make.
Video coming soon.
Now, even though the whole tube is obscured now by this layer of terry cloth, I can look through the center of the tube and I can get a pretty good idea of how straight it's coming.
You want me to shine a light through it?
Nope, don't. I got plenty of light.
Okay.
I like that.
Alright.
It's got. Can you see this, Michael?
Um.
Can you see a little bit of a wrinkle in it? Don't look through the middle. The middle.
Oh.
You can't really see through the middle.
I know, it's kind of hard to see on camera.
There we go. What do you see?
like a wrinkle-ish looking thing.
Yeah, it's got a little bit of a wrinkle. Now, I could try to press that wrinkle out, but you know what? I really don't think it's going to matter for these purposes. We're going to call it done. I don't think we're going to be able to straighten this again, though. I think if this bends again, we're done. We buy a new one. But it's it was 5 thousandths out of round before we straightened it out, and it's probably a little less than that now. But we can go back and figure that out. So let's put this back together. Grab our camera. Okay, so we went back out to the press. And it turns out, I said there was a little wrinkle in it, and indeed there was two bends, not quite 180 degrees apart from one another, about 3 inches apart. And I may have induced that, I don't know. But anyway, we just put a straight edge on it and we marked them, marked up the high spot, and you know, pressed on the high spot with the blocks very close together, and just worked on those two spots. And sure enough, we've taken, we're down to just a very few thousand. I don't know if you can see the indicator there. Just a very few thousandths. It's probably straighter than the first time we straightened it. So we're going to put this back together and put it on the bike and leave it there. And well, one of our channel notes videos later down the line will let you know how it held up, if there was in fact enough fatigue at the bend point here that it bends again. Hopefully not, but we'll see. We'll see how it works out. But it's really quite straight now. So hopefully it'll stay that way. Just a comment. I think the next time I do this, the hard part here, especially if you haven't done this kind of thing before, the hardest part is knowing how much pressure to put on it. In other words, there's a point at which you bend this, obviously, and if you release at that from a certain pressure, it will come right back to where you started. So you have to go past that. You have to exceed the modulus of elasticity, or the yield point. And probably the easiest way to know you're at the yield point is by watching a pressure gauge on the cylinder when you're pumping up the ram, because at some point it will plateau. Once it plateaus, you know you've reached the yield point. The steel can no longer resist or apply opposing force to the ram, and now it's yielding. You're bending. You're actually changing the shape of it so that when you do release the ram, it's at a different position. It's different from when you started. So I think I may in fact look to get a high pressure gauge to put on my press, and I think that would be more instructive for when we do things like this in the future. So if you have the opportunity to or are looking for a press, I do think it behooves you to have an oil pressure gauge showing what the ram is doing, because it will actually show you when the metal is yielding. It's a good thing to know. I kind of do it by feel. It's not the best way, and you know, I may not be the most practiced hand at it. But it works for me. I mean, if I have to go a little more, I go a little more. I usually try to err on the side of caution, because every time you bend it, you weaken it. Every time you bend it, you change the strength of the structure of the steel a little bit. You know, you do weaken it. I don't know that we've weakened this significantly, but no doubt we've weakened it. There's no question about it. So how much would be a good question for a mechanical engineer. So we're going to leave it there for now. I think we've revisited this enough. And we're gonna put it back together, and somewhere down the road, soon we're gonna let you know how it all turned out. So thanks again for watching, and please comment, please ask questions, and like. Well, I don't know if you have to like, but YouTube likes it if you like. I like comments and questions, and tell your friends, talk amongst yourselves. Okay, thanks again. Bye.